You may or may not know there was a study that was conducted by St. Mary's Press, which is a major youth publishing company. And it was released actually last year in Baltimore called Going, Going, Gone. And what they discovered in this study, this is the study here, what they discovered is that the average age that young people are what they term disaffiliating. Now, that's an important term because it doesn't mean that they stopped coming, because for many of those kids at age 13, if their parents are going to church, they still have to go to church whether they want to or not. When they asked the question, the study was conducted both quantitative and qualitative, which is rare in itself, meaning they got a survey to fill out and they were interviewed, which is actually a far better way to get information, right? Because a survey can only tell you so much. And so what they realized is that age 13 is when most young people have mentally checked out of the church. At age 13 is when young people begin to say, I have no idea how this has any relevance whatsoever to my life. Now, if you know anything about adolescent development, what also happens right around age 11, 12, and 13? Puberty. And during the stages of puberty, what happens mentally? Do you know adolescent development? Do you know this stuff? During puberty, there's a lot of changes, obviously, and not just pimples. The biggest thing that's really changing is cognitively, meaning mentally, where you move from concrete thought to abstract thought over a period of time. You move from asking a question, getting an answer, that's fine. Right? This is a cup of coffee. What is that? It's coffee. Oh, okay. Can I have some? Sure. I like it. I don't. We're done. Move on. Next topic. That's concrete thought. To abstract thought, which needs to reframe how the information you're giving me fits with the other information I already have. We become analytical, right? It's a normal stage of development. And so it is not coincidental that we also realize that for many in formation, they're having a hard time figuring out how what I'm reading or learning or doing or whatever fits in to my experience of the world and, quite frankly, the church as well. And that came out in the interviews. We're going to come back to that one because that's not a small problem, which, again, as we talk about consolidations, and I was in Chicago, we had the same conversation, we can figure out how to get all the buildings and who the right staffing is. If we don't pay attention to that kind of stuff, we're in the same place we are, we just have fewer locations, right? So that's an important thing to remember. You probably have heard some of these. Of those who disaffiliate, half are becoming nuns, meaning now we have to see if this is true. In 2020, we'll know. When the U.S. Census comes out and they have to pick their religion, we should, if this data is truly accurate, we should see a spike in claiming no religious affiliation. My suspicion is we will. But they say that half of them are becoming nuns, half are switching to a different religion. Most of those are some variation of a non-denominational evangelical church. And you can see, where the millennials, where they're dropping out, how many there are. I throw it out there because it's nice to know, when a population is becoming religiously affiliated, 56 million is not a small number. Like, that's a few people, right? And the ages, the Catholics are losing more than all denominations. I always tell people, though, take that with a little bit of grain of salt, because we are higher. Now, granted, we also have more people to lose than other denominations, right? But percentage-wise, we are higher than the other denominations. So that's why I always say, put an asterisk by it, because it is true. We are the highest, percentage-wise the highest. We're by far the highest numbers, but that one we have more people to lose. So don't go by the numbers, but percentage-wise, we are losing more than the other denominations. And every denomination is not losing, just so you know. There are denominations that are growing. So it's important to look at. So I look at it and I say, well, what's going on? What's going on in parish life, in what I'm going to call a normal parish, even though we all know there's no such thing. But in a typical parish, what is the behavior, what's the experience of parish life that all these young people and their families are not engaged in as we were 40 years ago, 50 years ago, when there were far more families around and Sunday was church day and we all just went and we kind of just, why would you not go?